I think Bitcoin is going institutional. I think, I've been putting out content now for like 3.5 years. And my main message was BlackRock's in the game. You guys are about to get screwed. And now it's playing out. And, everyone's acting like this is completely unheard of. But when I say you guys are going to get screwed, it's not like BlackRock's trying to screw you. They're playing the game just as all of us should be playing the game, which is the acquisition game of acquiring as much Bitcoin as possible. They're just playing it better. They're going to manipulate your emotions. They're going to manipulate your dopamine receptors, and you're going to end up giving up your Bitcoin. And that's just how the world works.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, when we talked about this last week with Charles Schwab allowing spot trading, everything's moving institutional, right? And so you got to be careful because the manipulation out there.
PNC Bank just recently announced their partnership and joint venture with Coinbase, allowing their customers to buy and hold Bitcoin at the bank. And this is like what has historically been like a small regional, like Midwest Pennsylvania bank, right? Mm-hmm. And like if they're doing it and they're one of the first to do it, I mean, we clearly are going institutional, and adoption is just going to increase, I think, at a greater pace over time.
Yeah. I think on the side of, British, you talked about dopamine. I think people expect it to be 2017 where you're going to get these 10K daily candles. And my personal take is I think institutions are like licking their chops at that, where they're going to short every big pump, every big candle, like on the daily. And people are going to be leveraging, 30, 40X and trying to capture the biggest move possible. But as we saw yesterday, Powell, during his speech, big candle up to 34. And then immediately, it goes down another like 4K right after that. And some of that was driven by, the Oracle earnings, not missing, I think, on the revenue side. But people, I think with dopamine is like retail is very predictable in the sense of people are going to latch on to the FOMO. They see a candle happen. They're going to long the top, try to, expect to keep going. And that's just not how like efficient markets work.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about price action that I kind of noticed sort of beginning of the year, where massive or what should be massive dips were being bought up quite quickly, right? Mm-hmm. And so you would, instead of seeing like in the last cycle, the previous cycle to that, you would have seen things that happened like the 80,000 Bitcoin that were put into the market by Galaxy. Like that would have caused a 15 or 20% dip in Bitcoin, but that didn't. It caused a 3% dip. And the reason is because institutions and sophisticated buyers don't buy like retail crack cocaine addicts. They buy by having trailing limit orders, and they wait for the price to come to those trailing limit orders. And that's what's going on here, right? And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, there's a smart buyer in the market. And, all of these things, all of these little pumps and this, that, and the other are just going to, and everyone calls it manipulation. I don't call it manipulation. I call it playing the game. I don't believe in the idea that markets are manipulated, especially the American markets, right? Even when you look at, for example, gold and silver and everything else, everyone always blames gold, JP Morgan for gold manipulation, whatever. Just go read all you have. It's a low IQ sign, because all you have to do is go and read the actual lawsuits, and you'll see that the extent of the manipulation was price spoofing in the markets, right? And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it affected at any time. JP Morgan affected the gold price by 0.3%. So there's institutional games which retail don't understand, and so they call it manipulation. This is just how institutions work.